Have you ever wondered about the real cost of an environmental disaster? Picture this. The year is 2010, the Gulf of Mexico. An offshore drilling rig known as the Deepwater Horizon suffers a catastrophic blowout. What follows is one of the most significant environmental crises of modern times, leaving an indelible mark not just on the environment, but on economies and societies as well. Its impact is vast, its ramifications far-reaching. Now let's delve into the causes of this catastrophic event. A series of unfortunate events led to the Deepwater Horizon oil spill. It all began with a blowout at the Macondo well, located beneath the Deepwater Horizon drilling rig. A surge of natural gas caused by pressure imbalances shot up the drill column, leading to a massive explosion. This resulted in the subsequent collapse of the rig, which sank to the bottom of the Gulf, taking with it the hopes of a quick containment. But the catastrophe didn't stop there. The blowout preventer, a safety device designed to seal off the well in case of a blowout, failed to activate. This failure allowed millions of barrels of oil to spew unrestrained into the Gulf of Mexico, starting one of the worst environmental disasters in history. The immediate aftermath was devastating, but the long-term consequences were even more far-reaching. The spill didn't just cause a temporary disruption, it triggered a cascade of effects that would impact the Gulf for years to come. The Deepwater Horizon oil spill was not just an environmental crisis, it was an economic and social disaster. Let's start with the environmental impact. The spill wreaked havoc on marine life, leading to a staggering loss of biodiversity. Dolphins, sea turtles, and countless fish species perished, while coastal ecosystems were severely disrupted. Marshes, wetlands, and the species that called these habitats home bore the brunt of this catastrophe, but the fallout extended beyond the environment. Economically, the fishing industry found itself in dire straits, with fishing grounds closed and seafood contaminated. Tourism, a lifeblood for many coastal communities, suffered as well, as pristine beaches turned into polluted landscapes. The spill's health implications were significant too. Cleanup workers and residents experienced respiratory issues due to exposure to oil and dispersants. There were even concerns about the potential long-term health risks of these substances. Socially and culturally, the spill disrupted lives and livelihoods. Coastal communities faced displacement, while indigenous communities saw their cultural practices adversely affected. The spill wasn't just an ecological disaster, but a societal one, ripping through the fabric of communities that had thrived off the Gulf's bounty for generations. Then came the legal fallout. BP, the company at the center of the disaster, faced extensive litigation, resulting in financial penalties reaching into the billions. A stark reminder that corporations have responsibilities that extend beyond their bottom line. BP, the company at the center of the disaster, had to face the music. In the face of such a disaster, how did BP respond? A question that echoed around the globe. Initially, BP was in the hot seat, facing critique for a response that many perceived as slow and inadequate. Their attempts to cap the well were fraught with difficulties, leading to further environmental damage. In the midst of the crisis, BP turned to dispersants, chemicals designed to break down the oil. However, this solution was not without controversy, with concerns raised about the environmental impact and potential health risks of these chemicals. The company also embarked on extensive cleanup efforts, employing methods like booming, skimming, and controlled burns. Yet these strategies had their own set of limitations. In an attempt to make amends, BP established a compensation fund for those affected, entering into settlements to resolve legal claims. They also committed to long-term environmental restoration in the Gulf, including habitat restoration and research programs. The Deepwater Horizon disaster was a wake-up call for the industry. A lesson learned the hard way, but one that has sparked significant changes. Every disaster carries with it a lesson, and the Deepwater Horizon oil spill was no different. This catastrophic event triggered significant regulatory reforms, bringing about a renewed focus on safety and oversight in the oil and gas industry. The disaster served as a wake-up call, prompting companies to review and revise their safety protocols to prevent similar incidents from recurring. Moreover, the spill had an unexpected silver lining. a surge in public awareness. It brought the environmental, economic, and social costs of offshore drilling to the forefront of the public consciousness, igniting discussions on corporate responsibility, environmental conservation, and the need for sustainable practices. The Deepwater Horizon oil spill was a harsh lesson for all, but it was also a catalyst for change, inspiring regulatory reforms, safer industry practices, and a heightened public awareness of the potential risks of offshore drilling. The Deepwater Horizon oil spill was a turning point in our understanding of the potential environmental, economic, and social costs of offshore drilling.